Hello, welcome back to the channel. So today's video, you're not going to see me at my normal table at my job type of video. We are at home because when we were at work, we were talking to Carter and doing a little bit of chit chatting while we were, eating our food and that. So we are on Matthew 26:25. Jesus predicts Peter's denial, and this is 31 through 46. And we're going to read we're going to read all the way through 74. So 31 through 74, and this is going to be the end of Matthew 26. So it says, Jesus predicts Peter's denial. Then Jesus said to them, all of you will be made to stumble because of me this night, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised, I will go before you to Galilee. Peter answered and said to him, even if all were made to stumble because of you, I will never be made to stumble. Jesus said to him, assuredly I say to you, that this night before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, even if I die with you, I will not deny you. And so said all the disciples. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane. Sorry if I pronounced that and butchered that. Says, and he said to the disciples, sit here while I go and pray over there. And he took with him Peter and those 2 sons of Zebedee. And he began to be sorrowful and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. He went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, oh, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass for me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and said to Peter, what, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Again, a second time, he went away and prayed, saying, oh, my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me, unless I drink it, your will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. So he left them, went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise and let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand. And while he was still speaking, behold, Judas, one of the 12, with a great multitude of swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now his betrayer had given them a sign, saying, whomever I kiss, he is the one. Seize him. Immediately he went up to Jesus and said, greetings, Rabbi, and kissed him. But Jesus said to him, friend, why have you come? Then they came and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And suddenly one of those who were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword, struck the servant of the high priest, and cut off his ear. But Jesus said to him, put your sword in its place, for all who take the sword will perish by the sword. Or do you think that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he will provide me with more than 12 legions of angels? How then could the scriptures be fulfilled, that it must happen thus? In that hour Jesus said to the multitudes, have you ever come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and you did not seize me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And those who had laid hold of Jesus led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him at a distance to the high priest's courtyard. And he went in and sat with the servants and see the end. Now the chief priests, the elders, and all the council sought false testimony against Jesus to put him to death, but found no, even though many false witnesses came forward, they found none. But at least 2 false witnesses came forward and said, "This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days." And the high priest arose and said to him, "Do you answer nothing? What is it these men testify against you?" But Jesus kept silent. And the high priest answered, excuse me. And the high priest answered and said to him, "I put you under my oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." Jesus said to him, "It is as you said. Nevertheless, I say to you, hereafter you will see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the power and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the highest priest tore his clothes, saying, "He has spoken blasphemy. What further need do we have of witnesses? Look now, you have heard his blasphemy. What do you think?" I honestly don't know what I think. The answer is that he is deserving of death. Then they spat in his face and beat him, and others struck him with the palms of their hands, saying, prophesied to us, Christ, who is the one who struck you? ? I'm getting tired, dude. I've only gotten 3 hours of sleep last night. Oh my goodness. I'm probably gonna go to bed after this and sleep till like 3:30, 4 o'clock, something like that. And it says, "Now Peter sat outside in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him, saying, 'You also were with Jesus of Galilee?' But he denied it before them all, saying, 'I do not know what you are saying.' And when he had gone out to the gateway, another girl saw him and said to those who were there, 'This fellow also is with Jesus of Nazareth.' But again he denied with an oath, 'I do not know the man.'" And that's number 2. And a little later, those who stood by came up and said to Peter, "Surely you are also one of them, for your speech betrays you." Then he began to curse and swear, saying, "I do not know the man." Immediately a rooster crowed, and Peter remembered the word of Jesus, who had said to him, "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." So he went out and wept bitterly. So essentially, Peter and Jesus were together. Jesus warned Peter that he will deny him 3 times before the rooster crows. And they're like, these people with these witnesses and all of this other stuff, basically the priest, the high priest, all that, they're basically saying Jesus is deserving of death, this, that, and the next thing. They beat him, they spit in his face, they did all this cruel stuff, and Peter just denied that he knew the man. And maybe Peter could have helped a little bit. I don't know. But that's crazy that he foreshadowed him denying him 3 times. He predicted it all. I think Peter didn't want to say he knew Jesus because he didn't want them to torture him like they did Jesus. You guys think that might be why he denied him the 3 times? You think it's because he didn't want anything to do with it? Sorry, I'm yawning. I don't know if it was this video I mentioned it or a different video, but I had 3 hours of sleep last night. And I've been up since 4:45 in the morning. It is currently about 8 o'clock. So yeah, it's about time for me to go to sleep. But yeah, Jesus told them that they would deny him 3 times before the rooster crows. They beat him, they spit on him, they did all this horrible stuff, which they probably would have did to Peter also. And then Peter denied him 3 times. The rooster crowed. And he went out and wept bitterly. Just understandable. Because denying our God the Father is the last thing you want to do. Especially when, you know, he's the all-living, all-forgiving, all-eternal Father. And now I think that this person is kind of like, dang, why to do that? I'm falling asleep. You're going to see a little cut because I was falling asleep. But, or maybe I'll leave it in. But yeah, if you guys have any idea, any thoughts on what this could be saying, leave them in the comments below. What I think is Peter denied Jesus 3 times because he realized what they did to Jesus, and he might have been in that same boat. And he didn't want to end up going through all that torture, but now he's going to end up having non-eternal life. It is what it is. You pick your destination. And that's going to be it for this video. Tomorrow we will be back with Matthew 27. Peace and love. God bless.